Russell Buddy 10. Hey, we made it. Big 10. Oh my God. Twice as long as we thought it would be this time around. But still twice as bad too. That's all right, right? You guys are you know what I'm talking about. Channel sucks. It hasn't been an easy week for your buddy. Uh like look, listen. My kid has been losing his mind at school. My youngest has just been getting in a lot of trouble. He was dealing with some bullying uh through the last month, and it feels like we've addressed most of the bullying. It's not peaking anymore, but he seems to have formed an enormous level of resentment and fixation on these kids that he's basically pissed off at. And he's causing a lot of shit himself these days, and a lot of like disruptions in class, and just being just not handling it, man. Not on a good path. We decided we took away all of his video games, his diet. Where I'm just more focused than ever. I'm just trying to help him have healthier foods, less processed foods. And wifey's on board. We got rid of all the bread in the house. We got rid of all the flour in the house. Now listen. And she got really not happy with me when I brought this up. I have been suggesting to do this for a decade before Randall was born. When I first started hearing about this stuff on the Joe Rogan show, listening to Dr. Patrick, uh, Rhonda Patrick, and my wife always said, "Nah." She said, "Hey, dude, live your best life," but I'm not doing that right. And, and so when I brought this fact up to her, she did remind me of the last 3 or 4 times I brought cookies and shit into the home. I said, "Well, you feed them trash anyway, so don't try to be pious over me." Did Russell Buddy use pious correctly? We'll find out. So, I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, if I don't want to be just like the asshole dad that never given him anything good, and then you do." And also, too, I'm weak, man. I'm weak. I don't know how to just be like. I don't know how just to dip my toes in that world. Obviously, so there are going to be occasional times when if I break, I'm gonna break, and I will involve the kids in my breaking. And not always, but sometimes I do. It depends on if I think I can get away with it or not. There's been many a times I've waited for my kids to go to sleep before binge eating, but sometimes you got another phone call about your kid and him causing problems in class and how he's having tantrums and stuff like that, and you've got to make the pain go away. So when I say you, I mean me, and I bought chocolate chip cookies. And I never even ever buy chocolate chip cookies. That's not even my bag, baby. That's not my bag. But I did, and she reminded me, and she was right. And I was like, and anyways, long story short, she was like, he's getting ridiculous. He's getting phone calls left and right from school. So she was like, okay, fuck it. I'm all in. My wife doesn't say fuck it very often. And she didn't literally say fuck it, but she said fuck it metaphorically. Anyways, needless to say, this is the first day this week that his teacher told me he had a good day all day long. So, yeah, I mean it's been a wild week. Um, that doesn't even lead up to like the most exciting part of this week. This week, I got to be on Mark Bell's podcast. I got to be on the Power Project with Nsima and Andrew, and oh, it's even happening right now. Like I was thinking about if they ever wondered when I say what's it look like when Russell has a panic attack, they got to see one. I was having a full blown attack right there on his show while it was recording. And you don't even know, like 3 different times I thought about texting Mark going, "Hey man, thanks for letting me be on your podcast." And I wanted to be like, and next, and it was one of those things where he invited me that morning, and I was staying home editing Chris's podcast. I wasn't expecting to go into his gym that day, but I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'd love to be part of the podcast. Of course. I love Mark. Anything I can do to uh um kind of help better tell a story for him and his audience. And also, dude, I mean, who doesn't love the Shine a little bit? The Shine's fucking cool. I mean, it was fun. Nsima is just dude, Nsima is just like uh a blast of positive energy. Andrew is just like this anchor of steadiness and just keeps it going. And then Mark is the host. I mean, he's insightful. He drives the conversation forward. And it was just really cool. And I got to be on there for a few minutes. And dude, I get up there and I look up, I'm standing and and I see the lights and I did just all of a sudden the panic attack starts. I start getting short of breath, and I mean, dude, I can talk. You guys see, I can talk. It wasn't like I don't think like I was winded. You know what I mean? Like standing up and walking 12 feet. That wasn't what did it to me. It was just like, oh no, dude. I was the fucking Mark No podcast. It was wild. I mean, I used to get stage fright. It was stage fright in some ways, right? I used to get stage fright before I would do the church drama club stuff. I mean, I need a couple takes, guys. What do you I wish next and I've been wanting to text him like, "Hey man, if you ever," and I haven't because it just sounds so fucking hard. But like if you ever, because it sounds like there's a veiled criticism right there, and this is the last thing on my mind. And then it also sounds like it's like "Oh, and please can I come back on?" And I wouldn't say that's the last thing on my mind, but it's certainly not anything like I'm trying to front page. It's not the most important thing at all. But ever get to do it again, ever get to have like a minute or two just to like sort of gather my thoughts and just sort of center myself before. And I tried to do that during their podcast and I didn't spiral totally out of control. Fortunately, Chris is there and that was kind of comforting. And he threw me my towel, so I got to dab off the sweat as I was sweating a little bit. Um, was it hot there? They weren't sweating. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't hot for me. I don't know. I think I was really nervous. I was having a panic attack. But we talked about obesity and shit like that and like this stupid thing I deal with. And I've been saying to myself and to people that would listen for a while, eating your feelings and like man, it is humbling. I don't think people give like uh the struggle of being someone who eats their feelings the respect it deserves. I mean, we all think I think most skinny people think fat people are just, super lazy, weak-willed that just love to chase indulgences. But I think bigger and I think the driving issue is I think more than that they're captured by not having I think a lot of overweight people are captured by not being able to at least for me not being able to properly regulate managing their feelings without the use of food, right? I get stressed, I want to eat. I'm super excited, something joyful happened, I want to eat. Like it just becomes such a so tied to just emotional stimulus, stress probably, really stress, I would guess, because they say I've read somewhere stress is good or bad things that happen in your life. Stress, right? Getting married, stress, having a kid, stress, and I think is or getting a promotion, stress, winning the lottery, stress, right? Losing your job, stress, you know, uh, uh, getting phone calls from your kids' school, stress. I think like if you don't know to like meditate or prayer and devotion or exercise, form this relationship with food where it's how you offload your body's stress. I think I've done that. And I heard this doctor say today, what was it called? It was under the Docs Who Lift. I think it was Dr. Where are we at right now? Where are we at right now? Where are we at right now? Dr. Nadolski? I don't know. I think that's his name. I heard him say it was something called, oh, what was it called? What was it called? Reward driven eating. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what they mean with that, but I know they mean like it's a your body is trying to express a need for serotonin, maybe to counterbalance cortisol from stress or something. I don't know. Like maybe you're getting just this giant cortisol dump, and your body's like, oh, we need serotonin. Yeah, no, I don't know if this is true. Not a health and wellness fitness podcast. Um, but when you start eating your feelings, you end up getting these weird wiring, neurological wirings. And I think I've told you guys this before. Long story short, the first time I remember eating my feelings, I was probably like 4. And my my dad, my dad, God bless him, you know, uh, don't go away, mad, just go away. I love him, but can't have him in my life. But he's not here anymore. Um, anyways, he was like, I was like 4, maybe 5, and this is this is how you know if you're fat, right? How Mark says, how do you know if you're fat? Well, I was 4, maybe 5, and I was having a visit with him because I was raised actually by his mother and his stepdad, my paternal grandma and my paternal step grandpa. God bless grandpa, man, saint, to put up with this family he married into. Uh, uh, anyways, he was out having or we were at his house. I remember being in his house. I remember being in his living room, and him and his buddies went in the backyard, and I knew they were doing naughty in the backyard without me, getting high or drinking or something, because I'd always known my dad was an alcoholic, whatever that means. I just knew. I knew they were doing naughty, and I wasn't allowed to be a part of it. And dude, I ate their whole bucket of chicken in the living room waiting for them somehow. And dude, I remember it now. I remember getting 2 or 3, dude, I shit you not. I remember getting 2 or 3 pieces in there, going for 4, going, "What are you doing? 4 is a lot." And then going, "Oh, well, we dude, we're hey, man. Hey, man, you don't back out now. You gotta finish what you started. You gotta go the whole way." And I don't know how this made sense, but you gotta go the whole way. I ate the whole bucket. Probably didn't do a good job, but I mean, I gnawed on them all. I got the fatty off of each piece of all of them, and I don't know how many pieces. It was a bucket. There was at least 4 or 5 people there. It was a bucket. Um, probably meant to be like 1 or 2 of people, probably, and I don't know. It was a bucket. That's all I can tell. And when I was done, I remember throwing it away in the trash under the sink, and my dad coming in going, what did you do?" I ate all the chicken. I don't remember what he said to me. Uh, I remember doing that, and that was, like, the first time I, like, ate my feelings, and, I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up. I don't know what to tell you. I'm really fucked up. Um, fucked up, and I'm trying really hard to fix my wiring. So, yeah, that's good. That's good. So, yeah. So, I don't think I really went did I tell that story on there? Back to what I think I was trying to say earlier, I don't even wanna listen to it because 'cause I'm sure I sounded ridiculous. I'm all sweaty, trying to catch my breath, trying to be, in it. It was wild, fucking wild. Mark, if Mark ever hears this, man, thank you for inviting me on your podcast. It was wild. It was fucking wild. My life is the best it's ever been right now. This is the best my life has ever been. My wife, my my wife is beautiful, and she's loving, and she's fun, and and my kids are sweet. They're not without struggles. I'm not without struggles, but we're doing something in this family. We're trying to make the world a better place. We're trying to make our lives better. You know, I'm doing my damnedest to give these kids a fair chance at this world because I think it's only going to get harder and harder. I'm doing my damnedest to fix this broken body of mine, this damaged mind of mine. I will say though, oh segue. I will say my body for being a fatty fat, over 500 pounds, a little over a year ago. I will be under 450 soon, very soon. I don't feel much want or desire to celebrate that. In my mind, because I know in my mind, I'm trying to get down to the 399. I don't know if that's I have to, anyways, I'm doing my best to fix this body. Dude, I love my life. I'm around cool, interesting people daily. All of Chris and Mark's people that work down there, Andy, and I guess I should be more respectful. Mark and Andy's employees down there are super cool. Chris is fucking awesome. I love that guy. And Mark the same. I am just living this charmed life right now that I don't think I deserve. And I just want to, man, I just want to be worthy for this, So bad, so bad. So, and that being said, yeah, I guess back to the transition. Um, I wasn't trying to, okay? But it just happened, trying to keep the podcast moving. Uh, we got done doing Mark's podcast yesterday. I met, come on, Russell, say his name right, dude. Respect the man. Matthias. I met Matthias. Matthias was doing cool shit with Graham, Barefoot Sprinter, and uh and uh and also and Seymour were there. Anyways, I asked Chris. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go take a walk?" Chris was like, "Oh, let's get some lunch." I was like, I'm gonna go train and maybe take a walk." He was like, "Fuck it, yeah, I'll go take a walk with you, and then I'll go have lunch afterwards." And then I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to ask Mark. And I know that Mark actually had some other stuff he needed to go do, but he squeezed me and he went for a walk with me. We walked around this building, and this is something I talked about on their podcast. A year and a half ago, I couldn't even make it from the front door to the back door without having to tap out and say I'm done. And yesterday, I walked around the building. It was like 1.3 miles. And dude, God bless Mark, man. If you guys follow Mark, which I think all of you guys follow Mark, I don't think there's many people here that's not from that crowd. Um, uh, he's been really into running like this last, I don't know, 8, 9 months, a year. He has really started becoming a runner, and he invited me to jog a little bit with him yesterday, and I am very nervous about that because uh, doing some jogging that I wasn't ready for really tweaked my knee a long time ago. But because of what I've been learning from Mark, what I've been learning from Chris, and whether I think maybe they got it from the barefoot or from the knees over toes guy. Come on, Russell, what's his name? See, this is why I could never be truly a good Ben. I okay. Listen, I was looking it up. But I didn't even type. I remembered Ben. What they got from Ben. I don't necessarily always post it, but I do my reverse walking. I drag the sled a little bit here and there. I'm not, anyways, I was able to jog very little, a couple short jogs with it mixed into this walk with Mark. I probably jogged maybe 50 yards, maybe 40, probably around there somewhere, and broken over two jogs. It was like jog 20 yards, walked 20 yards, and then I think we probably jogged 30 yards. So maybe we jogged a little bit more than that, but not much more. I noticed on my Fitbit, I was holding a nice solid one. Where was I? I was holding a nice solid like 120 heart rate, I think is what I was yesterday. Yeah, dude, right in there, right around 120. The moment we started jogging, I shot up to like 170. Like my heart was like, "What are you doing?" So that was, yeah. I don't know how long I could have went, how much longer I could have went. Um, and Mark kept saying like, "Pick up your knees." He didn't want me to trip. I was like, "Oh, dude, it's not the picking them up. I can pick them up as much as I want. It's the getting this knee back on the ground, trying to without hammering the knee in the process. I was trying to just really scoot that knee along to make it as cushiony as landing as possible on every step. And I know Chris recorded it, and Chris said, Chris is a documentary filmmaker, and he's like, "Hey, you never know, dude. Maybe one day this is in something special." He goes, You're going to want to look back on this one day. So I haven't seen what I looked like. And I was with the Bell Bros. So I peeled. When, when they walk around that loop, they do it shirtless to get the vitamin D and to get jacked and tan. And so I did it. I was walking shirtless. So I know Chris was behind. It's probably a wreck. I don't want to see it. Well, it's just like I don't want to see Mark's podcast. Rebecca will watch it. She'll tell me how horrible it is. Um, but it was great. I got to jog, and everything's cool right now. I mean, I'm really, really sorry. House is waking up. I'm getting distracted. As we wrap it up, Russell. Um, I'm really living a charmed life, and these last few days, I've been especially tight on my diet, and I feel like I have a good grip on it right now as we're talking. Um, I don't want to say one day at a time. Why can't I say, hey, what if this was the time, man? What if I flicked that switch? Mark shared with me, and I don't think he would be at all bothered. He's like, dude, I used to have, something to do with, addiction to food as well, but I've mastered that. I want to say I can master mine too. Like, yes, I have some deep rooted miswiring, but dude, I'm sitting here talking about my kid not having tantrums in the fourth grade. You know, I'm telling him to be the master of his own actions and master of his own mind. I I need to do that myself.